Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday evening. Hope everyone's looking forward to this brand new weekend in the start of February 2023 this year. And I hope everyone is looking forward to another brand new week starting in February 2023. First of all, do me a massive favor for me. Hit the like button, hit the share button, the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, which is United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Please subscribe bottom right hand corner if you're new. Then to share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to always put the notification bell on all times to receive dedicated content right throughout 2023 for brand new content on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel for more brand new Fortnite, Hogwarts Legacy, Kingdom Hearts 4, Football Manager, the new SpongeBob game, FIFA 23 Career Mode, Disney Dreamlight Valley, the new F1 game, and much more brand new stuff planned for United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. So please subscribe to the channel if you are new. And welcome to your Premier League match reaction to Manchester United's dramatic 2-1 home win at Old Trafford Football Stadium this evening on match day 22 of the 2022-2023 Premier League season against Crystal Palace Football Club. And I tell you what, that game today was probably the nervous I felt as a Manchester United fan. Manchester United yet again getting over the line by the skin of their teeth. I mean, today Crystal Palace in the second half absolutely dominated Manchester United. First half, Manchester United were absolutely all over Crystal Palace. I think the Casemiro sending off from VAR, I think it was a foregone conclusion that Casemiro had to be shown the red card, and the tackle I've seen in the highlights I've witnessed is we have lost Casemiro for the next 3 Premier League games, which is a major blow, especially against Leeds. Leeds at home, Leeds away, and then Leicester at home, I think, is a major blow going forward. But thank God Manchester United made the signing of Marcel Sabitzer, because we've basically now only got 3 midfielders left. All we've got now is Fred, Sabitzer and Fernandes, and basically that is our midfield for the rest of our next 3 Premier League games. I just can't see where Manchester United are going to get the squad depth from. But I'm very concerned with the amount of goals we're now starting to concede again. I think today against Crystal Palace, there's a lot of nerves, there's a lot of tension, and getting that Crystal Palace goal back for Palace obviously gave them the confidence boost to absolutely go full-gone attack on Manchester United in the second half. And the Casemiro sending off really affected Manchester United. And I feel like, Palace deserved to get something out of this game, but the goal we conceded was simply not good enough defensively. And like I said, that team has not been improved enough in the January transfer window. The cracks and the papering over the cracks yet again are clearly being shown by this football club. The owners and the board have thrown yet again another manager under the bus. And I feel like Manchester United cannot just keep scraping by. I know it's 4 wins in a row and 13 home wins in a row at Old Trafford, but that Old Trafford side, I mean, tonight the fans and supporters have got us over the line. I mean, we've become the 12th man in a lot of our last few games, and I feel like Manchester United are not putting teams away enough. The chances we are getting through on goal were simply not taken. I think the attack, there is no goal threat. The defence seems to be crumbling again. And as for the midfield, we've now lost Casemiro.
Who won the football?
Man United.
Oh, well, where are they now?
Third. So yeah, winning 2-1 is not the best home result. I mean, I know it's 3 points, I know it's a win, but we're now starting to get top 4 now secured in UEFA Champions League football. Seems to be set in stone that Manchester United are going to be back in European top competition of football next season in UEFA Champions League. I just want Manchester United in front of goal to be a bit more clinical, and I just don't think the goals are there in the attack. I mean, you looked at the team going with that team again. We've still got no Eriksen, we've still got no Donny van de Beek. Anthony Marcel, I kept saying this and no one listened. Massively injury prone, and yet again his injuries have cost the club once again. And unfortunately, he's back against Forest last Wednesday, has pulled up again with yet another injury. And for me, this has probably been Manchester United's worst ever signing they made in Marcel. And I feel like Monaco absolutely grabbed Man United by the balls and basically got what they wanted for Marcel. We should have never gone anywhere near signing him in the first place, because his injury record alone simply does not stand up to be benefiting Man United long term. And I feel like it's the end of time of Martial's career coming up to an end. I think so. I think we need to sell Martial in the summer. We could have really done with his influence up front today, because yet again, basically putting the BFG's best friend, the Iron Giant, up front in Weghorst, and offers no threat, no attacking style, no threat to the Palace goal, and simply we're putting it up there because their course is the only option we've got. And I feel sorry for Ten Hag and all this, because you've now lost Casemiro for the next game against Leeds at home next Wednesday evening. And unfortunately, all we've got left is Fred, Bruno Fernandes and Sabitzer now, and I feel like Sabitzer made an instant impact as soon as he came on for his Manchester United debut today, and I feel like his attacking quality with the ball and the way he can offer a midfield threat for Man United going forward is absolutely going to be very, very beneficial towards the end of the season. I feel like they made no choice but to go and sign Sabitzer, but now that signing looks like very, very in vain, because now we've lost Casemiro. I mean, he shouldn't have got sent off in the first place. The tackle we made on the Palace player, I mean, luckily that Palace player did not go off with a horrific injury from the tackle, but Casemiro really nearly cost us this game today. That sending off could have cost Man United the win in the 3 points, but luckily we're now up to third. We're above Newcastle, within 2 points of Manchester City, and if Arsenal losing today, anything can happen towards the end of the season. We have still got games in hand, and I feel like points are still there to be had, and I feel like Man United are going to get top four now. I think Champions League football will happen. We're now 13 points clear of Liverpool. We're now 10 clear of Chelsea. We just seem to be going from strength to strength to strength to keep the gap between us and our rivals around us. I just feel like the beneficial squad depth is simply not there. And you're seeing against Palace today, I told you the threat of their forward players would offer a threat, and they got the goal they deserve. I mean, the way Schlupp basically ran through on goal and put the ball into the net, that's down to the midfield and the defence yet again, not being able to keep a clean sheet against a Crystal Palace team that really struggle away from home for goals. But obviously that Jeff Schlupp goal obviously gave Palace the confidence to go and attack Manchester United in the second half, and they deserve their goal. There's no benefit about it that, Palace started to dominate the game in the last 20 minutes because Man United down to 10 men. Basically, Palace have got a man advantage, and it nearly cost Man United. I just don't know to see where we go from here now, because losing Casemiro, who's a pivotal point of the midfield, if all we've got now is Fred, I mean, that long term is very, very concerning going forward, that we simply do not have the squad depth to be able to keep playing competitive games week in, week out in the Premier League. I mean, we're only on match day 23 next week against Leeds at home. And if we don't beat Leeds, I think that is going to be down to losing Casemiro. I mean, he's made that midfield his own battle. He's basically made Manchester United a better team defensively. But losing Casemiro now, you're basically stuck with Fred. And McTominay is still out injured. Christian Eriksen's out till April. Donny van der Beek's out injured till the end of the season. And unfortunately, Fred ain't good enough, and Sabitzer's only just signed. And basically, you've got a well-formed Fernandes at the moment, and Rashford. Thank God Rashford got his goal today, because that game would have ended in a draw. It would have been 1-1, and Manchester United would have been sat here with a lack of goals, a lack of threat. And I'll tell you what, if we would have lost that game today or drew, that would have been more points thrown away towards keeping the gap between Newcastle and Spurs and us wide open. I mean, we're now 6 points clear of Spurs. I don't think Spurs are going to get top four. I think Newcastle will just scrape it and have Champions League football next season. And please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and remember to keep hitting the like button on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube as well. I just want long term to be able to see Manchester United go and bury some of these teams away from home and at Old Trafford as well, because the opportunity is there to score goals, and the opportunity for Man United to win games is there as well. Manchester United need to be aiming to beat teams like Palace at home. We shouldn't be conceding the goals we're conceding. That's just poor defending right from the start. I mean, we started the game well. We dominated Crystal Palace and we got the win we deserve. I mean, Crystal Palace are one of those teams, they either turn up and play very, very well against you, or like they had a very lucky situation. You have Casemiro sent off for Man United. Palace pounced on us like a cat chasing a pigeon. You know the cat will eventually get the pigeon. And basically, Man United became the pigeon. We were being chased constantly by the cat, and we were being round circles round our defence in the last 7 minutes. I mean, I can't see where the referee and VAR have got 7 minutes of added on time at the end of the game. It should be no more than 4 or 5 minutes, not 7, because fingernails are being bitten right to the core, because Man United know it's only going to take a Crystal Palace equaliser for Crystal Palace to pick up an unlikely point today. I thought really Palace were there for the taking, and we did not put our chances away. And that's down to the Manchester United as a whole. You look at that midfield, now you've lost Casemiro, I don't see where we go. I look at that attack, I mean, Jadon, Sancho doesn't even get used. Garnacho, awful again. Rashford gets his goal. Their course is useless up front. And I mean, I'm not being funny. We're relying on Fernandes and Rashford's goals to get Man United over the line. And for me, that simply isn't good enough. Rashford and Fernandes will suffer burnout. And unfortunately, we simply do not have the squad depth or the players or the chemistry there to be able to replace these players. I mean, I saw the amount of changes that were made today, and I think the right team was selected. But I think Fred, what's he doing in a Man United shirt still? Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, for me, long-term players, they're not. And unfortunately, I think Man United going forward, the more chances some of these fringe players get, the worse the results are going to become. I feel like Ten Hag is absolutely working miracles. I feel like, he's overachieving in season one, which he has overachieved. He has overachieved. Let's not beat around the bush. We've been massively overachieving our hype this season. We should be nowhere near top four. We shouldn't be having Champions League football. And really, we should not be fighting to be competing on all cup competitions on the forefront. And I feel like with the squad depth now, I feel like the tiredness and the fatigue and the injuries are only going to get worse. I mean, there's players available on free transfers. And unfortunately, Man United are not pouncing up on the opportunity to go and get some free players in. I mean, Isco's available on a free transfer. I mean, you've now lost Casemiro. Would that put Man United into action now to go and get another midfielder in? Because he's not going to be available for against the Leeds game or at home or away. And we also haven't gotten for Leicester now. So Casemiro is going to be a massive miss. And all please, who are watching right now, please subscribe to the channel if you're new and become part of content. I just want, Manchester United to be able to act on the forefront. I want Man United to start putting teams where we deserve to get the win against. I mean, we started the game well. We were all over from Crystal Palace from the minute one. And, the early goal got us the momentum going. I mean, the Crystal Palace handball, what is Will Hughes doing up with his arm in the air in the penalty box, clearly knowing VAR are going to get the referee to go over and give the penalty to United. And we started the game well. As soon as we scored the first goal, the momentum was there. United started to pounce. But it's just we need to be a bit more clinical and we need to start putting teams away more. If we're 2-3-0 up at half-time, we can rotate in the second half. I mean, the risk of Casemiro might then not have happened being sent off. I mean, Casemiro's made that midfield. He's made the defence a lot better. The midfield's a lot more edgy, a lot more tasteful. And unfortunately, you're losing that taste and Casemiro is going to be a massive, massive miss. Let's not beat around the bush. I just don't see where Man United's midfield now goes from there because I think we're only 1 or 2 injuries away from being clinically deployed of any squad depth at all. And for me, worrying long term, can Man United be able to go till May with this aging squad, with the injuries and fatigue we've got? For me, it's a complete and blank no. I don't think this squad's got enough energy left in the tank or the electricity to be able to keep recharging the batteries. And I feel like Ten Hag has got a bloody miracle to get this squad till the end of May in the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup final, as well as the Europa League and the Premier League. We have to just keep winning now. I mean, it's 4 wins in a row. We're all excited. We're buzzing that, our Manchester United are finally back. I mean, it's 1 defeat in 15 games, and that says a lot about how far Ten Hag has brought this squad. But if we're looking at it as a whole, like Manchester United should have been putting Palace away. They're not a team for scoring goals away from home. They struggled away from home, and they played more better at Selhurst Park at home. So I feel like, in my opinion, that Manchester United had an opportunity to score 3 or 4 goals in the first half. That game would have been over. Second half, that midfield could have been rotated. Well, we didn't have the options, so we couldn't really have done that. The attack could have been rotated, which we had to do. Weghorst, yet again, what a bad signing that's been. I mean, there were so many fans and supporters getting excited over Weghorst signing for this football club. And for me, this has been nothing more than a panic stopgap signing to get Manchester United's goals over the line. Unfortunately, those goals are not being achieved. It's like having those IEP targets you used to have at school. You've got to achieve 3 of your IEP targets in the year of a term, and you've got to achieve and hit all of them. And unfortunately, Weghorst has probably got an IEP target, and he's not hitting one of those targets. And he's not the answer to Man United's goal scoring problems. He was not the answer altogether. Manchester United, if they wouldn't have been so tight and basically bollocks towards the manager, we would have went nowhere near Weghorst. And unfortunately, we are paying the price now. I mean, Anthony Marcel, for example, today can't keep himself fit. He's got injuries like breadsticks, and basically Ten Hag could not rely on him. Why we didn't sell him in the summer, probably down to the board. Why we didn't replace him in January, probably down to the board again. And the owners basically don't give a shit. And I mean, they're even considering not selling the football club now. I mean, basically backtracking on what Manchester United fans want. And the supporters and the fans of this great football club deserve answers. We can't keep going like this if the owners are still here in the summer. I mean, could you imagine if the Glazers are controlling the summer transfer window? Could you imagine the amount of crap they are going to put the fans and supporters through? Could you imagine the type of player we're going to probably try and attract? And unfortunately, that is simply not good enough. That's not acceptable. Man United need to be able to attract younger, fitter players who can keep themselves fit and have a good injury record. And unfortunately at Manchester United, we've basically attracted the wrong players who have too many injuries, and we don't get rid. We basically keep a lot of the deadwood crap at this club. And unfortunately, this is coming back to bite us on our very, very ass. It's very simple. This manager, like I said in a transfer window assessment video yesterday, hasn't been backed. Erik ten Hag is basically walking on eggshells, because I think even he deep down knows this squad ain't good enough. Going forward, these players can't keep themselves fit. And some of these players, you probably deep down know, shouldn't even be in a Man United shirt. And can you blame Erik ten Hag for calling the board and the owners out? No, you can't blame him. That squad today showed the fatigue, it showed the weakness, and it showed the vulnerability. You've lost bloody Casemiro, one of our best players who's been on immense form this season, is out for the next 3 games. And Man United probably sit there over the weekend and do absolutely fuck all about it. We have got a midfield crisis again. We're in exactly the same point when we had Solskjaer in charge, when we had to go and sign Bruno Fernandes because we had no McTominay, no Pogba, and the midfield we have was absolutely pants. And it was pants. We were crap back then under Solskjaer. And unfortunately, the same crap is happening under Ten Hag. The same players can't keep themselves fit, pick up silly yellow cards, get themselves sent off, can't keep themselves fit. The mentality and the standards, some of them don't care. And I'm sorry, we may have wanted it, but am I getting ecstatic about it? 2-1 against Crystal Palace. We shouldn't have conceded a goal in the first place. That's down to the vulnerability of that back four. I told you, Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw are not the long-term answers, and it's proving pivotal now. You've seen in the last 3 or 4 games the amount of hype and praise Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw get. I mean, does anybody actually watch Manchester United? I mean, they've been crap. And people praise them thinking, oh, they've got the best out of the manager and they're playing well under him. I see no improvement. I haven't seen any improvement. It's clear in black and white right in front of you that Man United have got a squad here that simply ain't good enough to go to the end of May. It's not. It will tell, and it will tell very, very quickly. We may be clear of Chelsea and Liverpool and Spurs, but unfortunately, we will not be able to keep pace with Man City. We can't keep pace with Arsenal. Our biggest challenger is probably Newcastle. We've got to finish above Newcastle this season because I know we've got to play them in the Carabao Cup final, but for me, in my opinion, we are the better team. We've got the better players. We've got the better squad. We've got a better manager, but we're only a few bad results away from it all going tits up again and going pear-shaped. And the more goals we keep conceding, the less clean sheets we're going to keep. And it showed today. The vulnerability in that team is second to none. The players are tired. That squad's knackered. The element, the excitement, the energy, the buzz, the electricity ain't in the team now. The batteries are drying up. There's no power source left in those players because some of those players probably now know they're on the first team sheet every game now because Man United ain't got the squad depth. They haven't got the replacements. We haven't got a replacement with Casemiro. We don't have a Fernandes replacement. We don't have an Eriksen replacement. We don't have a Marcel, Weghorst and Rashford or even an Anthony replacement. They ain't good enough. And that's down to the poor recruitment all January. There was no plan to sign players in January. And basically, Ten Hag was told, you've got to get by, mate. We can't give you any more players. Well, I'm sorry. What's Ten Hag meant to do? Ask Sooty to borrow his magic wand and get Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. I know we've won today, but Palace deserved the goal. They deserved an outcome. They deserved a response in this game. And they did deserve a point. They were the better team in the last 27 minutes and basically outplayed a Man United team, basically trying to hold on for their dear life, not to concede a goal. And unfortunately, the goal still got conceded down to probably the formation had to be played because we had to play a 4-4-1-1. Because we simply didn't have the players. We sat back and let Palace attack us. We couldn't counter-attack because we didn't have the players available on the pitch to be able to get the counter-attack going because the midfielders lost Casemiro and he then basically got Rashford and Anthony. I mean, the substitutions today, I mean, Garnacho gets brought on and with 28 minutes to go, Garnacho's getting brought off. That basically shows Man United had to park the bus. They had to park the bus all game, and it wouldn't surprise me now if Sabitzer's now are going to have to come in for the Leeds game because I'm not being funny. What's Malacia and Sabitzer doing on the bench today? What's Sancho doing on the bench? You know Weghorst ain't good enough. We know Fred isn't good enough. But what's Sabitzer and Malacia done wrong to not get in his team? Even Jadon Sancho, there was a bright spark in his game when he came on against Nottingham Forest midweek, and he's been benched again. Does that basically say he's actually got a future, or are we just trying to nurse him back in? Because I'm not being funny. If Sancho's not part of the plan, don't use him. Don't play him, because we need to be playing our best team. But unfortunately, I don't think we know what team we've got. I don't think we know what players were good enough. I don't think the manager knows his best starting 11. I don't think Ten Hag knows, because he hasn't got the options. He hasn't got the team going forward to be able to know what his team's going to be. He doesn't know what players to use in the formation. He doesn't know how to stop the attacking team. And for me, going forward, that's a worry, because if you're going to let Palace attack us in the last 27 minutes, you might as well just let them equalise, because there should have been a way to counter-attack them on the break of 3 against 1. And we should have got the third goal and put Palace to bed, but we simply could not do that today because of Casemiro's dismissal for the red card. And unfortunately, you know that was going to happen. VAR, the referee goes over, checks it. He knows Casemiro's going there. We all know Casemiro's going to get sent off, but it's just based on United had opportunities today to put the ball in the net. And unfortunately, we don't have the players to do it. I mean, Marcus Rashford and Fernandes today have got my man of the match award for me, in my opinion, because even Sabitzer's up there. Let's give 3 of those players man of the match. For me, they were Manchester United's most influential players all game. Those 3 players lit up that game today and got Man United over the line. Sabitzer's making an instant impact on that midfield already, in my opinion. I know he hasn't shown much, but already I'm starting to see an upgrade on Christian Eriksen. I mean, the way he controlled the midfield, the possession, the ball, the way he can attack, he's got the pace, he's got the speed and the agility to be able to run at the defensive back for the opposition team. Fernandes' form, he seems back to the Bruno Fernandes we had when we first brought him. Marcus Rashford grabbed his 19th goal of the season. He's nearly on double figures of goals already in that season. That shows that Ten Hag is getting improvement out of these players. I think sometimes he just puts the trust in some of the wrong players. And I feel like we all know who they are. I feel like some of these players get too many opportunities. If they've probably got more lives than the cat. And I'm not being funny. If I'm the manager of a football club, and we started my football manager career mode with Manchester United today, so please subscribe to the channel if you're new. I get rid of the dead wood because I know it ain't good enough. I know those players I've got, I need better. And if you only get better, you will only get better. And Man United need to realise the more deadwood you keep, the worse the squad's going to get. And it will show. Time will tell where this team is at end of May. Because if we don't get top 4 and we're not back in the Champions League and we don't win a trophy, this season for me is nothing more than pure failure. We can't afford to fail this season. We need to keep progressing forward as a team to be able to keep achieving the targets the manager set. And I mean, the targets the manager's been set are probably massively overhyped. And I feel like the ambition of Man United have been given too much pressure is probably on Erik Ten Hag's shoulders now, because he's looking at that squad thinking, bloody hell, I've got no midfield and I'm relying on that attack every week. And it's like, those players know they're like playing every game because they don't get a rest. They don't get a break. And unfortunately, we can't afford to rotate now. We are going to have to play full strength team after full strength team every game now because we don't have the players there to be able to replace them with. That's down to the owners again. That's down to the board. I mean, the transfer window was a joke from a minute go. We didn't get Felix, didn't get Gakpo, didn't get Marcus Thuram, didn't get Memphis Depay, and basically settled for Weghorst, Sabitzer and Jack Butland. I mean, I think I realised why Jack Butland didn't play it because he's on loan from Crystal Palace, but you could at least have included him in the stadium, say, to actually pinpoint where he was sitting, because that Jack Butland deal's been nothing more than a joke. Fancy signing Jack Butland on a season-long loan deal from Palace. I mean, no disrespect, he ain't a Manchester United player. Hasn't had a look in since he's come in. I mean, what was the point? More money chucked at bad signings, again, that Man United don't want. And unfortunately, that's down to the board and the owners again. They don't give a shit about this manager. They don't give a shit about the fans. They don't give a shit about the supporters. Apparently, we're hysterical and we give them too much crap and criticism for doing their job badly. Or maybe if you did your job properly, this manager wouldn't be in this shit. Because Erik Ten Hag is the right manager. For me, he's been the best manager since Alex Ferguson. I think the results prove it. I think the home record showing it. And I think the goals we're scoring and the player improvement is second to none. We saw none of that under Rangnick. We saw nothing under that under Solskjaer. We were basically underlining and underwhelming another manager, getting him sacked and basically bollocksing the interim manager, Rangnick, because we all deep down know Ralph Rangnick was not good enough either to lead this club back. And even the players knew. We all knew what was going to happen. We all know the criticism that squad was getting was justified. It's because Erik Ten Hag's had to come in, basically do a job and make miracles happen with this current squad. He's probably walked in from day one, and he's expecting to beat Palace today. I think we all expected Palace to beat Palace. We all went with 3-4-0. I went with 3-0. I was nearly there, but 2-1's not a bad shout. But we shouldn't have conceded the goal in the first place. We shouldn't be conceding the goals anyway. We need to start defending better. I mean, we've got Varane and Martinez back in. That goal ain't down to those two, by the way. It's down to Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw's positioning, as well as losing Casemiro in the midfield, because Palace saw the opportunity. They knew Casemiro was going. They had to pounce. They brought on their best attacking options. That basically nearly got Palace the draw today. And without Wilfried Zaha, that game's a lot different. I think Zaha, I would take him back at Manchester United. I know David Moyes didn't give him a chance and basically showed him out the door after one season in charge. But Palace knew the opportunity was there to go and get something from Old Trafford, something they probably didn't think would happen. But, losing Casemiro today is going to completely derail our season, in my opinion. Losing Casemiro is going to dent the forward progression. I think the team's going to dry up of goals, and the attack in front three, I don't think you can rely on. I mean, the home game against Leeds next ain't going to be easy. Let's not beat around the bush. The home game against Leeds is not going to be as simple as people think now, losing Casemiro, because without Scott McTominay, without Van der Beek, without Eriksen, I mean, what chance have we got of ending this season on a high? What chance have we got of actually winning trophies? What chance has Manchester United actually got of winning silverware? Because we've got now no midfield. And for me, in my opinion, we've got no attack. Their course isn't the answer. Marcel's too injury prone. Sancho doesn't get a look in. And you're basically relying on Rashford, Anthony, and Garnacho to get you over the line, because Weghorst, I'm not classing the signing now. What a joke by playing Weghorst up front. Why isn't Sancho starting on the left and Rashford down the middle? Wouldn't that have made more sense to go with a youthful attacking front three to attack Crystal Palace's ageing back four? For me, that would have been a bit more better to go with a youthful attack to be able to attack the vulnerability of the Palace back four, because Palace do concede goals. They do leak goals, like I said. And Man United did not spot that opportunity to make that game a lot more of a convincing win than what it looked on paper. And unfortunately, we made this game a lot harder for ourselves than what it should have been. But at least we've got the win and we've got the 3 points. I'm happy with the result, but I'm not happy with the overall performance from those players today. I feel like a lot more aggression needs to be brought out of them. I feel a lot more positivity needs to be brought out. And I think a lot more charisma needs to be shown from some of these players' attitude, because they shouldn't concede the goals they concede. The passes and the overhyped progress they try and make in one game simply doesn't pay off. We try over speculative passes and long range passing that doesn't come off. We play too many through balls that our wingers can't get on through with. And unfortunately, Fernandes is worn out. Eriksen's missing. Casemiro suspended, and then you've got Fred. I mean, Fred yet again today. Don't start me on Fred. I mean, bloody hell, what is he still doing at this club? He's absolutely shocking. And I mean, apparently, Erik ten Hag sees Fred as a leader in that team. What are we playing? Follow the leader. Is that what we're doing now? We're basically putting the trust in yet again in the wrong players. Fred is not good enough. 50 million for a B-Tech Fabinho. He ain't good enough. And unfortunately, a lot of players are being put in trustworthy again. I wouldn't trust that squad to run an egg and spoon race. I'm sorry. That squad alone ain't good enough. We all know it ain't. That squad is fatigued. The squad is knackered. There is no energy left. And the excitement and the buzz is starting to drain. And unfortunately, I know I'm happy. I'm happy. That's 4 wins in a row. We're 13 points clear of Liverpool, 6 clear of Spurs, 10 clear of Chelsea. That is what Manchester United should be doing. That is where we should be, winning above our rivals and setting our standards to get this club back to where we belong. Because the Man United fans and supporters deserve a lot of praise and a lot of encouragement. You lot are the best fans in the world. Manchester United fans and supporters, you're all amazing. Become part of the channel. Please subscribe, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube, because you know what? We are getting this team over the line. We are becoming the 12th man. We are becoming Man United's key possession in the midfield. We now have to keep rooting that team on now. We have to keep rooting them on, because we've got to keep putting teams away. We have to win against Leeds at home. Then we've got to go to Leeds, where we've got to keep this winning run up. This mentality of getting the wins we need, we have to keep going now, because we cannot afford no more points dropped, no more silly possession being lost, and no more stupid goals being conceded into Hayes' net, because we can't keep doing the same thing week in, week out. And for me, Garnacho, I don't know what's happened to him. I mean, since Fulham, he's not been the same player. I mean, Kane comes on today, offers nothing. Weghorst, I mean, why we gone back to long ball forward football again? I don't understand why. Liverpool basically did that when they signed Ricky Lambert. They did that when they signed Lambert. They played long ball football. And basically, that's what Man United have turned into. We've turned into a long ball passing team to try and hoof the ball up to Weghorst to see if he can bring the ball down in the defensive back four of the opposition team. It doesn't work. It clearly doesn't work. And unfortunately, it's going to continue to show the goals are not there in that team. The goals are not there to be scored. And unfortunately, that is down to the lack of midfield options, and the attacking options just don't go there either, because there ain't no attacking options in that team. There are no goals to be had, and unfortunately, the players we're putting trust in can't be trusted, and that is showing now. The goals are not there. The encouragement is not there for the rest of the season. I think personally, the board and the owners have written this season off. I don't think they want Man United to be successful. I don't think they want Ten Hag to win trophies, because they know if they're still here in the summer, they'll be controlling the summer transfer window, restricting Eric Ten Hag of any spending, and basically telling him, you're not buying any new players until we sell some to recruit some funds. And I'm sorry, that basically then again is writing next season off as well. If these owners aren't gone in the summer, I fear the worst for this football club, and I fear the worst for the fans and supporters, because we are the most important part of this team is the fans. Manchester United are nothing without the fans and supporters, and we are having to stand by them thick and thin lately because the results simply haven't been there to be getting Man United over the line. And hopefully we can keep pushing on that, because that is what we have to do. We have to keep pushing forward with this team, with these players, and this manager deserves all the backing in the world. I mean, I just don't feel like he hasn't got the backing he deserved. Unfortunately, it's showing now that we are running out of options at every position in that team. The only positive today we can take is Diego Dalot's back from injury. I think that's going to give Man United a boost at right back. But I mean, Malacia can't even get any team now. What was the point signing him? Casemiro, we ain't got no replacement. I mean, if we ain't got McTominay, I mean, what's wrong with Scott McTominay? Does anybody actually know what's wrong with Scott McTominay? Because he hasn't been involved in the last 3 or 4 games. Has he got a really bad injury? Has he got more injuries than Marcel? Because both of them can't be trusted either. Scott McTominay ain't good enough. As a Marcel, just don't go there. How he was fit for last Wednesday and he's out injured again says a lot. He picks up so many injuries more than breadsticks, and it is showing badly. It is showing why Ten Hag needed backing in January, because he knew the players he's got aren't good enough. Those players will not get this team over the line this season. We will not get the results we want, and we will not get the performances we need on and off the pitch, because whatever we're doing in training is affecting some of these players' bodies, because whatever we're doing, maybe they're being pushed too much. Maybe the results have worn this squad out. Maybe the momentum, that commitment Ten Hag wants, this team can't keep up with. But unfortunately, that's what we accept. We need these players to put the standards in to produce the results. I mean, thank God Rashford's there today to get us over the line, because Rashford basically won us the game. He's got the goal we needed to get the 3 points we need, because if that game ends in a draw, this match reaction ends in a very, very different light of what the fuck has happened today. You're 2-0 up and you bottled it. Thank God that didn't happen, because I would have gone mad, because you can't drop points against Palace. They're not decent. They're not very good under Patrick Vieira. And for me, I think he gets massively, massively overhyped, because he's just an ex-Arsenal legend, apparently. Even though Arsenal bantered themselves today by losing to Everton, didn't you, Arsenal? So I think, in my opinion, that, Palace were the better team in the second half. I feel like, in my opinion, they deserved to get something, but I feel like the attacking quality in the first half basically dented the morale of Palace. I think conceding that early penalty for the Will Hughes handball basically derailed Crystal Palace throughout the game. I feel like 7 minutes in, they had the momentum. They were building pressure on Man United team. And unfortunately, they couldn't prevent that from 90 minutes. They couldn't keep up that momentum of consistency, passion and desire to be able to get something from Old Trafford. They knew that the result wasn't there today to be happened. And Palace, do you know what? Have got some good players. I rate Elise. I think Mateta's very, very good. I think Edouard is very, very good as well. I think Wilfred Zaha, I would take him in the least for the left and right wing position at this club, because we haven't got any other wingers. And I feel like Manchester United today have got very, very lucky. I feel like, in my opinion, we have scraped over the line today. Let's not beat around the bush. We've won the game. We've got 3 points. But I feel like Man United have just got over the line today. And getting just over the line ain't good enough. We need to be consistent every single game. We need to start putting these teams away. And we have to keep this winning run up. I mean, 4 wins in a row, 1 defeat in 15 games. That shows we have made progress. That shows this manager was the right choice all along. And there's a lot of people eating a lot of humble pie out on the media, the press, and even certain ex-players who are apparently great pundits on certain outlets. Basically, in my opinion, they're not. I think there's a lot of bollocks being spoken by a lot of them. There's a lot of bollocks being spoken by a lot of ex-players who are not good enough. And we all know who they are. Michael Richards, Gary Neville, Roy Keane, Jamie Carragher. Do I need to go on about the list of ex-players who think they're very, very good pundits? They're not. And I feel like Man United need to keep the attention away from the pundits. I feel like Man United need to focus on their football. And I feel like Erik ten Hag needs to keep his team's momentum up. I feel like he needs to keep the criticism away from his squad, from the ex-legends, because they don't play football anymore for a reason. They've retired for a reason. They ain't good enough anymore. They basically have those players' careers failed and basically got rid of because they weren't good enough anymore. And a lot of criticism has come Erik ten Hag's way. He doesn't deserve the criticisms he gets. He's the best manager we've had since Alex Ferguson. And for me, he's achieving way above his station about what we all expected to see. And I think, for me, I didn't expect UEFA Champions League football. I didn't expect top 4. I didn't expect to be in a Carabao Cup final. For me, the way the season started, I thought it was going to be nothing more than a car crash. But fortunately, thank God for the United fan base, we're actually in a final, because I don't see our rivals competing for any trophies, aka Carabao Cup. I don't see any of the big teams left. And I see a lot of the big teams out of the FA Cup as well. So, yeah, Man United are achieving above their station. And I feel like, today's game shows a lot of squad depth that ain't there. And that squad depth cannot be put up till May. That squad till May will not be there. The more injuries and the more fatigue we get, the more youth players from the academy are going to have to be called up, because we are running out of players and we're running out of them quick. The more players we run out of, I don't see how Man United can put a team out. I really don't see where these extra players are going to be able to come from, because there was a way of winning that game today and we didn't win it properly. If Casemiro wouldn't have been sent off, I thought we would have gone and got another 1 or 2 goals to finish Palace off. But feel like Casemiro is the leader and inspiration that team we need now. We now haven't got. And I feel like Casemiro makes his team everything. Without him in the midfield protecting the back 4, I don't see how we're going to keep clean sheets now. I worry what's going to happen in the next 3 Premier League games, because without Casemiro and we ain't got McTominay, imagine if we then lose Fred. I mean, I don't rate Fred. He's never going to be good enough. But then we're basically stuck with Sabitzer and Fernandes, and that's it. Imagine if that's the midfield in the next few games and we don't have Fred either. It could get Man United in a very bad position when we might not be able to fulfill a team sheet. We might not be able to play games. I mean, I don't think it's going to come to that point. I think they'll just try and make the numbers up as quickly as possible, because you can't rush Eriksen in injury. Donny van de Beek, obviously, is out into the end of the season. Delo, thank God. Yeah? Your pizza's ready. All right, okay. So, yeah, I think the only positive today is if Delo's back, can he be put in this team? Will they put Lindelof at CDM? I mean, apparently that's what we've been working on in training. I mean, playing Lindelof at CDM, that's like playing Maguire up front. And for me, I don't want that. I think you've got to play the players in their preferred position that they're in. And I hope Man United can find a way out of this rut of losing so many players to injury and fatigue and suspension, because the more suspensions that happen, the more fatigue and the more injuries, this squad's going to be on its knees by the Barcelona game. I can't imagine what Barcelona are going to do in Europa League to us. I fear and I dread where we're going to head towards the next few games, because I think Casemiro has derailed the season. I think losing Casemiro is going to absolutely derail this momentum of this team, because without Casemiro, I mean, where do we go? We've got no McTominay, midfielder. We've got no Eriksen, a midfielder. Got no Donny van de Beek, a midfielder. I mean, what do we do? I mean, I would love to ask that question to the manager. I would love to ask him what we are going to be able to achieve without Casemiro in the next few games, because I don't think Lindelof at CDM is the answer, and I don't think putting Maguire there either is the answer. I feel like a team is, I can't even say we've got a team sheet left, because we've just simply haven't got the squad depth. But that's down to the board again. That's down to the owners, because basically Erik ten Hag has not been backed in January, didn't get the players he wanted, didn't get the players he needed, and basically got told, there is no money, Eric, and we're only getting you loan signings because we're selling the club. We don't give a shit about you, the team, the fans and supporters. You're all hysterical. You need to stop criticising our job, and you need to stop criticising us, because we're doing the best we can. Well, the Glazers haven't done the best they can. They have ran this club into the ground for 18 years, and they've run it badly yet again this year. 18 years of really bad ownership are costing these managers. This is why Moyes failed. Van Gaal failed, Mourinho failed, Solskjaer failed, Ragnick failed. And do you know what? If the Glazers stir in the summer, Ten Hag will be gone next season, because I don't think the owners are going to sell. I don't think they want to sell the club. I just think they're trying to hype up their interest and what they can get for the club if they put in a full sale and the Glazers do piss off out this club. But imagine if they're in the summer. Could you imagine what the summer transfer window is going to be like? Could you just imagine how bad that's going to be? Because apparently we're going to try and get Harry Kane and Bellingham and De Jong. Well, good luck to you, because that ain't happening. That really won't happen. Man United must be in dreamland if they think they're going to try and get Harry Kane in. That ain't going to happen. And it will show very quickly that those players, that squad, will cost this team full season. And I just dread now. I mean, I know Rashford's won us the game and we've won the game. We've got the 3 points. We've got the victory. 4 games in a row, 4 wins in a row. One defeat in 15. We're up to third in the Premier League, 13 clear of Liverpool, 10 clear of Chelsea, 6 clear of Spurs. I think it's a good week for United. We've got ourselves a Carabao Cup final. We've won the Crystal Palace game, but we have to keep the momentum up now. We just have to keep winning, and that's what we have to do with this squad. We've got no choice to go with the squad we've got. That is down to the board and the owners, like I said. But yeah, I mean, my man of the match obviously goes to Fernandes and Marcus Rashford. I think for me, they have got Man United over the line. I think for me at the moment, Fernandes and Rashford are playing out of their skin. I feel like, in my opinion, they are getting Man United over the line in every game, and their form they're showing, I think they'll keep it up. I think the momentum and the encouragement they're getting off the manager and the coaches is showing in their performances. And I feel like today, the early start and the early penalty for Fernandes and Rashford's well-taken goal has got Man United over the line today. And thank God they got the goals, because if this ended 2-2, we would have been devastated. We'd all been absolutely gutted, because we would have only then been 4 points clear of Spurs. And I mean, the gap to Liverpool and Chelsea would have decreased. So at least we're keeping ourselves in front of our rivals. And we're now up to third. If we win our game in hand and Man City lose tomorrow, we're up to second on Wednesday night against Leeds if we win. So we just got to keep this winning run up. And I feel like, Erik ten Hag is building even more momentum. I feel like this team is only going to go from strength to strength. And I'm just buzzing we've won this weekend. Thank God this club has not ruined my weekend, because if they would have ruined my weekend, I wouldn't have forgiven them for that. So yeah, we've beaten Crystal Palace 2-1 on match day 22 of the 22-2023 Premier League season. Please subscribe to the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube, and please hit the like button on this video if you enjoyed this match reaction. So I hope you enjoyed the rest of your Saturday evening. Don't hit the like button, share button, hit the subscribe button to United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel and community if you're new. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to put that notification bell on to receive brand new content planned for 2023 for the rest of this year. For brand new content on the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. We've got more Fortnite content coming. Hogwarts Legacy, Kingdom Hearts 4, the new SpongeBob game, FIFA 23 Career Mode, Disney Dreamlight Valley, more previews, more match reactions, more content. We started our Football Manager Career Mode with Manchester United today as well. So please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and remember to hit the like button. You're all amazing. Thanks for the continued support and positivity and the feedback and the hints, tips and advice you all give me on my content. I really appreciate it. I'm starting to give away free moderator subscriptions as well on the channel. So if you want to become a moderator, please subscribe to the channel if you're new and become part of future brand new content on the channel. And obviously, please join me for the Premier Match preview on Monday afternoon for Man United's upcoming home game against Leeds United on Wednesday evening for match day 23 of the 2022-2023 Premier League season. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. I'll speak to you guys Monday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. You're all amazing. Manchester United have beaten Crystal Palace 2-1 on match day 22 of the 22-2023 Premier League season. 4 wins in a row for Manchester United. The good times are coming back to this club. Stay safe, guys. Be nice and be kind to each other. You're all amazing. Thumbs up to all of you. Peace. You're all legends, and please keep subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.